doing? Oh, I can't complain, but I'm still a man, a black man I am. I live in the land, I build things by hand. Our families were taken, our identities mistaken. For hundreds of years we shed many tears. Although it appears that our culture doesn't respect the tradition we left. And the wisdom was stolen, replaced by linoleum. Floors from the windows to the walls, from the sweat drips in my ball. I still can't complain, and all my kids want things from the mall. They only a few feet tall, but they keep me going. My life is in gold. It's like I was chosen, and there's no opposing. I understand the mission, but can't see it. Vision. Pew in the system smells like something's missing. That old intuition, take the kids fishing. Anything so they listen before they make a decision that puts them in prison. The cycle was real. Your uncles come out, your nephews go in. You a bullet get out, and a new cycle begins.
Usual favorite show. I am we are the hosts, myself, John Hansboro, my lovely wife, Shalanda Hansboro. Um, how's everybody doing tonight? It is Wednesday, right? Wednesday night, March 24th, nasty, wet, rainy day. Before we get started, I just want to plug a few things. As usual, this is the Unusual Favor show, as usual. This is the Unusual Favor show. So be sure to get my book Unusual Favor on Amazon. And also Spitfire Poetry Volume 1 and 2 is also on Amazon for your viewing pleasures. And I wanted to plug a couple of a couple of Black authors that I think are really good. I don't know if anybody watched my show last week, the Spitfire show. My sister Shanice Jacobs has a poem book called Holy Day. Holy Day. You want to get this? Go on Shanice Jacobs on Facebook, or go on my page, and I can. Also, my sister, author Poetless Shakespeare. Author Poetless Shakespeare has a book called DNA. This is a really good page turner, too. And my publisher and editor, Angela Edwards. This book right here, ladies, this is something right here. The bathroom was my dungeon. The bathroom was my dungeon. By this being Ladies Month, this is our last show for Ladies Month. If you get a chance, check out some of those. Check out some of those books. Okay, how you doing today, honey?
Pretty good.
You good?
I'm a little tired, I guess you can tell.
Long day. So we wanted to talk about what's going on with the school system and the children, the parents, the teachers. It's a lot going on with our kids, and it's a big adjustment for everybody with this pandemic in school. I don't even know where to begin with it, but I will say, for us, we were not looking to send our children back to school this year. Maybe next year after the summer. I want to see how things work in the summer, and I'm sure they'll probably be back if it's all right. They both want to go back, but they really don't understand the dynamics of this pandemic. I really don't think they really understand. We explain it to them, but and I wanted to talk about this because last week I was home. My children were in school, and one of my children, I happened to be walking past her, and I noticed that she was. It was a lot a noise going on the computer, on the laptop. So to make a long story short, basically a parent just came right on the live feed while the teacher was teaching and was talking about, you know, how they were I lost my train. Oh, how she was a little upset because her child was getting a 0 for that day. All right. Um, um,
For something to do.
for something that, well, he didn't do the work from what the teacher was saying, but from what I understand, also the parent was just expressing herself on how, you know, trying to see if the teacher can be lenient and let the teacher know, you know, these kids are going through a lot. My child really tries. I know they don't get it all the time, but they really try. And you know, you're just giving out zeros. Or you have any thought about, you know, how they are dealing with everything? And she was crying. She was real passionate, and it made me choke up a little bit. I was listening. I was just in shock because I'm like, you know what I mean? She's live while all the kids are there. I know I wasn't the only parent standing behind my child watching it. And I wasn't even mad at it. I really felt bad for her because she was, you know, she was reaching out, you know, she was reaching out to the teacher. But she was just in a state where she sounded distraught. Like, you know, she was really upset and crying and things like that. Um, so, and was I wanted to get a teacher on tonight to talk about this. And what's crazy is my wife used to be a teacher. I thought of that this morning. I'm like, you looking for a teacher, and your wife used to teach. So the phone number to call in, 443, I believe it's 297-4753. Call in, join the conversation. You got any comments, questions, whatever. But we want to know what you guys feel about what's going on with the school system and our children
Hey,
in
John.
this.
Hey,
Yes.
John, you would go out and come back in because your internet is going in and out. I'm going to play your song while you're doing that.
Okay.
I live in the land, I build things by hand. Our families were taken, our identities mistaken. For hundreds of years we shed many tears. Although it appears that our culture doesn't respect the tradition we left. And the wisdom was stolen, replaced by linoleum. Floors from the windows to the walls, till the sweat drips in my hall. I still can't complain, and all my kids want things from the mall. They only a few feet tall, but they keep me going. My life has been golden. It's like I was chosen, and there's no opposing. I understand the mission, but can't see it vision. Pew in the system smells like something's missing. That old intuition, take the kids fishing. Anything so they listen before they make a decision that puts them in prison. The cycle was real, your uncles come out, your nephews go in, you a bullet get out, and a new cycle begins.
Hello, everybody. Back again. Hello, Kimmy. Hello, everyone. Back again. Having some technical difficulties, the Wi-Fi and the rain. We're talking about what's going on with our children in the school system and how it's affecting this, the parents, the teachers, the children. So I wanted to ask my wife actually a couple of questions and see her and get her feedback on it. First, my wife used to teach. So one thing I was interested in knowing is if you were teaching now during this pandemic, right? you know, what type of precautions would you take to, you know what I mean, to be safe, really, and not bring it home to your family?
I mean, it's a tough question because I am a hands-on, not hands-on the child, but like to connect with someone. Sometimes you are required to get, closer to them, especially with teaching younger students. When I was teaching older students, high school and college, that's different. We can keep the distance. You can say, you can back up because they're a little more understanding of the reasons why.
It's a little harder with the little ones, though, probably,
because they only hear that something is wrong. They don't see 200,000 people dead. Right. Not to laugh about that, but that's not what they see. They hear pandemic, get food, get drink. They hear pandemic, panic, but they don't actually see just how serious it is. Now, do they feel something? Yes, I think so.
I think so too, definitely.
They feel that this is a serious matter, but they forget. It's almost as if when you're if you lose power, if you've ever lost power in your house, God forbid if you have, but if you've ever lost power in your house for any reason, not paying the bill or a big thunderstorm, you forget like what you use power for. You're like, oh man, the power's out, the lights are out. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna watch the TV. No TV. No. There's no TV. There's no power. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna just make me something to eat. No, you can't heat that up real quick because there's no power. So it's kind of that. That to me.
I heard something on the radio yesterday that was interesting, that a lot of the children in our city still don't even have, some of the kids aren't even going to school. They don't even have, internet at home. Some of them wasn't able to get a computer. I don't understand that, but they weren't able to get one. So there are a few children that are not even in school. Mm-hmm. And then with the teachers, I think it's hard on the teachers. I think it's hard on everybody.
Oh, I didn't even go there first. I definitely, and that's why I'm not teaching or subbing at this point. It's too nerve-wracking for me to put myself in that situation. I commend all of the teachers,
absolutely,
for quickly adapting to this, because honestly, we thought we had more work in the classroom before the pandemic. Oh, but now, we're not there physically, but there are times when, especially when the child is by themselves. I mean, luckily, our daughter has someone here most of the times when she's on there. But I think it's way too much to ask. We're parents. We're waking them up. I mean, I remember being so nervous for the first day. I'm just like, how is she going to control the class if they get out of control? What, you mute them all?
Virtually, right.
Yeah, you drop them out of the windows. You can't get one child to behave, but it was also new for the kids. So they were actually, to me, this class, this level, third grade, elementary, they were much calmer, because they didn't quite know what to do. So they were figuring it out together. Right. So they wasn't as rowdy, So, I mean, but still, I think this is, unless they doubled our salaries, that's too much for my life. I really.
We know they definitely ain't going to double anybody's salaries.
Well,
that's for sure.
Well, if they give me a salary for each of the roles that I think teachers have to pay, then that's another story. But it's not safe.
A few of the teachers that I've spoken to said, one teacher, I'm not even going, that told me that if they push for this teacher to go back, they were like, they're just retired.
And that's not good, because then we're losing all of our mature, experienced teachers.
Right.
And yes, you go to college, and yes, you do workshops, and yes, you do professional development, but there's nothing like learning from a mentor that is experienced with time. It's just, there's nothing like it.
We got a comment from a buddy there, Joyce Butler. How you doing, Miss?
Hi, Miss Joy.
She said,
I'm trying to be like you, Miss Joy. I can't see you, but I know you have a too.
So will these kids be held back? That's a good question. Will they be held back? You know, I don't think they will be held back because I feel we having a little private go. I feel like they won't be held back because the school system basically is just pushing them along. I think, you know, even if the kid is failing, they'll push them along. They still got to get their funding, and they still got to, you know, all the political things of it.
Hide and go seek. Your grandmother was sweet. There was always something to eat. Back when we said beef squash.
Sorry, guys, we are having some technical difficulties tonight. Everybody's not cooperating in the rain.
I killed for nothing. Back in the day when the summer.
I'm gonna leave out and come right back in.
Let's try it again. Let's just try.
Hey, I like you. If you like me too, just answer the question. Yes, no, maybe so. When you had no dough, there were lawns to mow. House parties till her mother crashed it. And when she left, right back at it. That may have been static on your favorite radio station. Everyone had cars with kits on it. Mason with rims protruding from it. Jordache jeans, Calvin Klein trees. Aunts and uncles smoked weed. They never got down with their heads in the clouds. All of the wild, red as a child. The jewel of the now, that movie was wild. Back then, Michael J. Fox.
Hello. Sorry, guys, we are having some technical difficulties. Just bear with us. Wi-Fi's acting up, man. I guess, you know, this rain is really not helping at all either, I'm sure.
We were talking about
but I wanted to go back to Miss Joyce's question. She said, will the children be held back?
Mm-hmm. We don't know the answer to that at all.
No, we don't.
Should they be held back? You know, that's another question. I believe that it should depend on the level of that classroom. Because we've seen by pushing kids ahead, that hasn't been successful. I guess once kids started repeating classes more than twice, they started this, No Child Left Behind, and would just push the child on after that period of time. And we see the result of that, you know. There's no way that you can make up, you know, for all that time. 4 years, I believe, is the situation with them. For us, it would be like like what one school did was, though the class said fourth and fifth, the fifth grade just did a fourth grade curriculum, hoping to get those kids to move a little faster and get those things that they missed. But again, that's
Hey guys, I am really sorry. John and Shalanda are having some serious technical difficulties. We have a rainstorm going on here in Baltimore, and some affected more than others, and stuff happens. That's it is. So y'all gonna see my face in case I have to jump in, because I totally agree with them. Let me put my mic on. I totally agree with them talking about this school stuff, because I used to teach, and it can be very, very depressing. So let me see if I can get them back on the screen. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey, so you guys keep going out. I just said, when you go out, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna jump right back in. But continue on, because I do like the conversation about, Joyce asked the question. She says, what did she say? Some kids do not even bother to log on. And
she's absolutely right. I don't mean for those kids that aren't logging on. I was specifically talking about those children that are trying, or that are in the classroom. The classroom is not full. I believe they started with certain levels going back in person. So maybe that's why the classroom is small, but she's absolutely right. Some kids are not logging on, and if that's the case, then I do some sort of penalty.
I know they are. They're emailing parents when the child is not doing the work, or if they're not, they're not on the shit, things like that.
They're supposed to be adjusting the food stamps according to the attendance. So, yes, you want the children in school, but it's kind of the parents' responsibility. And I do acknowledge parents that are doing, this stuff on their own and have to be at work, and then they expect that their child is going to do what they're supposed to do, especially if they of a certain age.
And so let me jump in, because their internet went out again, and that's a really good point, because the bottom line with all of this is that parents have to be involved with their children's education, with everything that's going on with their child. Somebody tried to make an excuse and tell me that the young man who couldn't read and who had been passed along in school, it was in the news recently, that it wasn't his mom's fault. That is her fault. I don't care how busy you are. At what point do you not notice that your child can't read, or they can't do their work? And this person is in high school, will soon be graduating, and you as a parent have no clue. They didn't have to pick up anything in the house and read it. You got to read at some point in time. So I do say that it's the parents' responsibility to make sure that you check in with your children, no matter how old they are, and make sure that they're doing their work.
You have to. Yeah, you have to, because if not, who knows what they're doing. And that situation that was a very interesting one to me, because I don't blame all the parents, but as parents, we do have to do our part. We can't just expect the teacher to do everything, especially now with what's going on. The teacher's got so much on them, it's ridiculous. So us as the parents, we really have to play our part to help our kid get through. You know what I mean? I remember, the village isn't broke. We still have the village in our community where we have, if mom and dad is at work and the kid is home, maybe grandma's there or cousin, somebody, to make sure that the kid is doing their work.
Well, I worked in an after school program. And so a lot of kids that, were missing things in school, they had, 4 hours after school in this program that I ran to, get the information that they didn't get in school in a smaller group. That's not quite happening now. So it's getting harder, but I want to go back to what Lady J and John, you were talking about. It is that the parent should take some responsibility. That is a long time to not notice certain things about your child's, education.
Right.
Um, there's I don't think it was right to blame and put all of that blame on one teacher. So much and
Yeah, they're cutting out. I apologize, everybody. That's why I'm sitting on the screen tonight, because I want to make sure that we continue the conversation. But for those of you who don't know, in Baltimore, it's a really big thing where our children are being passed through the system and they can't read, they can't spell. They can't. Some of them have problems comprehending, and so they're having. I love the conversation that John and Shalanda are having tonight, because it is super important that I don't, I know we're all busy. A lot of people are single parents. I went from being married to being a single parent, working 3 jobs. But guess what? I still made sure my son did his homework and did everything that he was supposed to do. That's your responsibility as a parent. We can't fall down on the job. And me being a former teacher and, teaching students who couldn't read is difficult. And then some of the parents couldn't read. And then when you try to reach out to the parents, you can't even get a conversation with them. They don't come to any meetings, and they then turn the tables and blame it on the teachers. And, it's not all the teachers' fault. They live with you. You're the parent, so you got to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, it's a messed up situation all the way around, I believe. It really is.
And the fact that North Avenue is not supporting these teachers.
Right.
Yeah, I actually had to go to North Avenue. Everybody, is where our Board of Education is here in Baltimore, and there was actually a press conference today that I had to cover, because parents, concerned citizens were down there today, and they're calling for the school board to do something. Like, they're saying, do something. Let us know why these children are being allowed to just come to school and nobody's teaching them, or they're being passed. But I don't know if Shalanda is I'm sure she does as a teacher. That I don't know if this happened to you, where you were told that you had to pass students even though they couldn't read or write. But if you fail a lot of students, that makes the school system look bad. So where I was at, you either pass them, or you could get in trouble for not passing them.
Right. Somebody, they got to figure out some way to fix this. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to find somebody to be held accountable, I think we should, everybody's got to put their heads together. We're just going to have to stick this out and work together. We have to work together to get it done, to get these children, no kid should just be passed along either. I don't think, because that's not good for them. I think just keep pushed along and along, grade after grade, just getting pushed. That's not good at all.
You have a child that's 4 years older than everyone in their class. Sometimes it's not appropriate, because that mind of that older child, though the education level is lower, that social level is at a different height. So I think there should be a separate class, unfortunately, not to label any level, but to get the child what they need. You can call it Million Brains 101. I don't know. It used to be called special ed when I was there. I'm not know what it's called now. I think they have a different term, but they should be grouped together on their levels, and taken out after a certain point. Because like I said, it's almost a mentality of having that level stay so many years. And then the other thing is, if they're going that many years and are failing, where's the testing to see, if there is something wrong? Is it just because they're not reviewing the materials, or is there some sort of disability, whether they need more time, or they really get nervous and taking a test, or they can't retain information? So, 4 years after, 2 years, you should have noticed something that was not quite right.
After 1 year, really.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? After 1 year. I don't even see how I got past one school year. I don't understand that, you know?
Unless that child was hiding, the report, because they mail a report card out to you, if you don't pick it up or if the child refused to bring it home.
And also, I'm not sure if North Avenue has even made a statement yet. I'm not sure if they've made a statement about it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to get the computers, the laptops when this all started, right? And
that was a job.
We knew then back then that this was going to be a task because when we went to North Avenue to get the laptops, we stood in line for probably 5 hours, right?
Wow.
The line was from the door all the way down North Avenue, and then
on both sides.
Yeah.
All the way down.
And then as you were going into the building, though, it's like they were changing the rules. You could tell that they were just caught off guard. Yeah.
Making it up as they go along.
Right, right.
No thought about the process. I just, sometimes they really need to, I mean, I know it takes time and they got it last minute, but they knew that this was coming. What would be the best way to distribute? Right. You have every school in Baltimore City coming to this one location
right.
At the same time, trying to get the same thing, sometimes with multiple children. I put an S on it. That was serious. Because I saw this woman, and she couldn't even carry, she had about 4 or 5. That wasn't, finally they thought, giving it to the schools where the students attend was the best thing to do. I understand maybe some buildings weren't equipped, but I believe during the summer we picked up material and laptops from the school for the summer right outside the door. I mean, granted, it was decent weather, but that was, it was hot, but I don't think that was thought out properly. And I am grateful for whoever all of a sudden said, hey, let's get this amount in this room and out of the street.
Yeah, that was something. I knew, like I said, I knew then that this school year was going to be a trying school year. I really did. Now, on the flip side, though, what's interesting too is that some of the children some of them may have improved on their grades by being home.
Like my baby. My baby got all A's, both of them, the first semester, because I was so on them because I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm like, I'm checking this, I'm checking that, and it kept you on your toes. So and I had the ability to be home and not, working.
Especially with that math, because I still don't know what kind of math.
That
does not make
any sense.
Keep
a positive attitude about things.
Eureka
That's the
math.
other thing.
What's the other one? Eureka math and
all of that. Oh, why is this math is stupid? All of that goes out of the window. Because now you have the opportunity to sit in class with your child to see exactly how they're being taught this new method. And it is up to you to figure it out and help them, not say, oh, this is stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. That's what the kids say, but you're the adult. You're in the class now.
It can be frustrating, though.
You weren't in 3rd grade for the first semester.
Our youngest daughter's in 3rd grade, and I was helping her with her homework one night. And I had to question my own, like, I didn't know what she got the answer, and then I'm trying to find out how she got to the answer. And it's like they're taking the children around a mulberry bush, all of these different ways to come up with the same answer. I don't understand what that's about. I don't understand that. How does that help them when they're paying a bill or when they're,
when they're standing in line trying to figure out, do I have enough money for this item?
Right.
Or do I come put it on the belt and be embarrassed because I can't add and count fast enough to do what it is that I need to do?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't see any, I really don't see any, the only thing I can see us go where it'll change is if, I guess, with the vaccinations, and if everyone is vaccinated and, because if the numbers start to go down, then I will definitely feel better about sending my child to school, and then with the vaccinations, like me and my wife haven't been vaccinated yet. Well, I know I haven't, I haven't, and I'm still a little skeptical. I'm still afraid. I don't, I know people have had it done, older people, young people, and they're fine. But I don't know.
I just feel like at some point everyone will have it, whether it's the most dangerous strain or, I mean, God forbid, or it's the minor like flu strain. You know, I feel like it's turning, and I'm not a scientist, don't go by me at all, but I just feel like if it's in the air, at some point, I guess they say it dilutes as it goes along, but at some point we all have it. So at some point we're gonna go back to normal, whether that normal is masked all the time.
Right.
You know,
that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think the masks are ever going away.
and why not be
really
virtual things that work? Groceries on my porch.
Yeah, I
don't have to go to the aisles and look at prices and try to figure that stuff out. I can go right there and just push on the phone, put it in the cart, and pay, and then hours later you hear a doorbell. You know, that is quite helpful. But I guess we would rather it be a choice than by force. So though I would love to see the schools open and theaters open, and that was my other part of life, was performing, and I really want those things to be open, but I want to live too.
Exactly. Right.
So now this pandemic is in a curse, and you have the opportunity, one, to see how your children are doing. You have another opportunity to scan your life. Am I doing what it is that I feel I've been brought on this earth to do? Or have I been in robot?
Yeah. So again, everybody, I apologize. They're having problems with their Wi-Fi. We have a storm going on in our area. So, but just want to piggyback on what they're saying. Like, are we doing all that we can do as parents? Because even though the pandemic is going on, you get tired, you get frustrated, but you can't give up. You got to keep, let me see if they're back. You got to keep doing your job. Joyce Butler said that she's had both of the vaccines. Okay. She's had both of them.
Wow.
That's
so wait
awesome.
a minute. She means just the 2-shot one, or she's had multiple?
I think she's talking about
had
the 2 shots.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And she's been feeling fine.
My mom took her. She's been feeling great. My mother's over 65. She was feeling great. So
I don't know, because I understand, and I know people are feeling, okay. I've met a few people that say, but other than the soreness at the site, which is an injection symptom anyway, that they didn't have problems.
Right.
But I'm skeptical about the flu shot still. Every time I've taken the flu shot, I've gotten sick. When I don't take it, I'm fine. And then since I've already been exposed to COVID, isn't there something in me supposedly that's fighting against it coming again? Why do I have to get it back in my arm again? I don't know. I think it's.
I know one thing: we all need to stay up on our. I think this was a good eye opener to get everyone to try to stay up on their health, keep your immune system built up.
Oh, I thought I heard you say keep your weight down.
Keep your immune system up and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Because this was scary. And then I also think,
I love the vitamins I have to take now.
The vitamins. I think that the fear of the shot is because of what, a lot of the unknown, basically. You know what I mean? Not knowing, and then seeing other people that take it, I'm like, oh, they're fine. They don't have 2 heads or whatever. So I'm not a monkey. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But I think we're going to all have to do it eventually, though. We really are. We're going to have to get that shot, I believe. Be able to go maybe out of the country or travel without it. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll zoom my way there until they have more information. For me, like, to my knowledge, I thought that these what is it, injections? What is it called?
What, just the vaccine?
I thought that the vaccine takes more, like, years or a couple years at least to be approved.
Right.
Or I don't know.
It was right.
But and then all of a sudden, whoop, poof, poof. Here you go, vaccine, take it. You know, how all of a sudden the necessary steps is cut in half. That sounds like guinea pig. That sounds like laboratory work. I mean,
it's a lot of fear. Like I said, it's a lot of fear. I believe, eventually, I think I'm going to have to get it though. I mean, I don't think that there's a way around it unless they make it optional where they say, well, if you don't want to get it, that's on you. You don't have to get it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a lot. I know. And then, like with what we're dealing with the pandemic, like these children, the parents, everyone is on edge. There's a lot, if you're not doing anything to keep yourself motivated or things of that nature, you could fall into a depression state. That's a lot. These kids get depressed too,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think we all should we're going to have to come together at some point to figure this out when it comes to the school system. I believe that we can do a lot on our own together instead of depending on someone else to tell us what to do it. It takes a lot though, because I come from a generation where when I was a kid, my parents and all the other parents I knew, they was going to the PTA meetings, they was going to the schools, and they was in this teacher's face to see what their child was doing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot on everybody. What time we got? Yeah, 8:10. Well, we get ready to wind down. Let me see. Today is Wednesday, the 24th.
They went out again. Well, anyway, let me say this. When I went to New York for my birthday weekend, which was in February, I went to New York, and the moment that we got off the train, Eric is my son, Eric and I were actually we got off the train. We walked into, I think it's called Penn Station as well in New York. We walked into Penn Station thinking that we were going to keep walking, and we were stopped by the police. We were stopped by some people from the health department. And before we could take any more steps, we had to fill out a form saying that we did not have COVID. We also had to fill out a questionnaire that was online. So the both of us had to fill out this questionnaire online, and then they checked it. And if everything checked out, they gave us a code and information saying this person has checked out and they're able to walk around in New York. That was scary for me because they said, make sure that you keep this on your phone, because there could be some places that you go to, and before you could come in, they're going to say, can we see your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Can you show us that you actually filled that form out? And that was really scary for me, but that's the way it's getting. And it's getting to the point where there's some states that you will not be able to travel to. Even now, you can't travel there unless you've had a negative COVID test, and you got to travel with that paperwork. I think they're frozen again. And so, yeah. I think they're going in and out. So that's where we are right now. Yeah, they're going out again. But that's where we are right now in our world today, where there are certain places that you will not be able to travel to unless you can produce that form. And I forgot which state it was that when you go there, if you didn't have the form, you would have to be in quarantine for 14 days, get tested there to make sure that you're okay before you could actually walk around in that state. So, it's a very serious thing. And, it's up to you if you want to get the test. But I'm like John and Shalanda, I think eventually we'll all have to take that test. It's going to come down to that.
You're probably
Yeah, I
right.
think so. I really think that's what it's going to come down to because um that's the only way I think we're gonna get back to normal. You know what I mean? That's the only way we're gonna get back to normal. And I've seen things where they're talking about we could be having a normal summer maybe, you know, in July and things of that nature. So I don't, you know, they were saying we may be able to have family gatherings and stuff like that. So, you know, but I would still wear a mask. Like I'd probably be wearing a mask. I don't think I'll ever stop. I really don't. I might not wear it all day, every day, but if things really start to get better, I'm sure I'll keep one in my car or close, you know, because you never know. You never know. You gotta take care of yourself too and be safe out here because you know, with all of this going on, everyone is going through. Somebody cuts you off and you want to give them the bird and you might get yourself into some you didn't even. I don't know. You gotta be careful.
Let's bring up that other topic.
What?
I mean, we
might
gotta
have
get
to.
permission.
Yeah, no, we gotta save that topic for another time. No, we're gonna save that for another time. What?
I'm talking about the news, the mental stuff that people going through.
Yeah, people are definitely going through mental. Oh no, y'all. I'm not even talking about the stimulus. Yeah, we ain't gonna get on that. That's for another show. That stimulus mess is absolutely crazy. I'm not.
But we're gonna end on a good note.
Yeah.
So we don't disconnect again.
So
I was tired and now I'm feeling a little bit of energy. Thank you, Unusual Favor.
Thank you for watching. Thank you, Miss Joyce, for always being there. I appreciate you so. Look at What Up Baltimore constantly. There's a bunch of great shows constantly going on in What Up Baltimore online radio on Facebook. Be safe out here. You know, look out for my Spitfire show next week. Spitfire Poetry next week. I will have two poets on. Joshua Young.
They went out again. Yeah, his Spitfire Poetry show next week. Make sure you check it out. If you did not see last week's show, y'all missed it. It was fire. Okay, maybe because I love poetry and open mic and stuff like that. So let me bring him back up so he can. Let me see. Are they there? Nope, they're not there yet. But definitely make sure you join in. He comes on next week from 6. No,
I think it's called Conversations. So sorry about the in and out of the Wi-Fi. You know, the devil always busy, but you know how that is. Right. So everybody be safe out there.
We'll see you next time. Have a great night.
This is the last show for us for Women's Week. I mean, for Women's Month. So I want to give a shout out to all the wonderful women out there.
What wonderful women.
All of the wonderful that are doing their best to stay, you know, sane. And then to my wonderful.
Oh, they're the Wi-Fi. This is why I'll be glad when COVID is over. I hate virtual stuff, but anyway, I'm pretty sure he was giving a shout out to his wife. Let's see. Let's see if we can get them back on. I don't know if nope, they're still not on. But everybody have a good night. Stay tuned because I'm going to be covering a show for Fred just for about a half hour. We're going to cover for him and talk about divorce and also talk about why some people feel like it's important to I'll save it. I'll tell you when we come back on. So anyway, everybody have a great night. This is Unusual Favor with John and Shalanda Hansboro. I know they were saying goodbye and he was giving his wife some kudos. And I'm sorry that he didn't get a chance to finish, but it's always an enjoyable show. I hope that you continue to tune in. Join them next week right here on What Up Baltimore Online Radio.
Some of their friends laughed because at curfew they stayed out past. We played games like freeze tag and hide and go seek. Your grandmother was sweet, there was always something to eat. Back when we said, yo, beef squash, man, I thought that was good. To squash a beef and see them in the street with